Nihit, I often see many messages in WhatsApp and Instagram nowadays saying that so many students, I'm contesting as a student union president. Please vote for me. They're advertising themselves. So I'm just curious, what these student union presidents do. Yeah. What is the best experience that you have being a student union president? So you can say that. Well, why did you first decide to do the masters?
In UK?
Yeah, in UK. And normally, why you want to do masters? When I come across numerous students nowadays saying that they are failing in their courseworks. And then when I came in 2019, there was not many people saying that I didn't pass out of the university. I have problem to apply for the post-study work visa and stuff. But right now, I don't know situation what happened. Everybody, so many people saying that they didn't finish their courses. Yeah. And then it's crazy that they don't know the consequences as well. What are the consequences and why is this happening in the first place?
When you fail in the second chance as well, then unfortunately you have to leave. Many of the universities, if you fail completely, they give you 60 days to go.
Please do us a small favor by subscribing to the channel. Provide your honest opinion in the comment section so that we know what you're thinking about that. Alright, welcome to the podcast, guys. Nihit and Prajakta, pleasure to have you here. So the context. Podcast name itself is unscripted. So we're gonna talk about lot of things from the perspective of international students. Let's dish out the facts of being international students in UK, and then life in Britain as outsider, and then many more things about the United Kingdom, unbiased opinion about whatever we feel of being here. So give advice within our experiences to the newcomers and also existing students, and then we'll talk about our journeys. Right from, let's start with the introduction. Nihit, just a bit of introduction over yourself.
Yeah, so I'm going first then. My name is Nihit Tiwari, and it's a very touchy topic, by the way, these days, especially now the laws are changing. But I am an international student myself. I started my journey in 2018, and I did my bachelor's here. Then I became the Students' Union President. I got elected twice, from 2021 to 23. And then I've just started my master's. So I'm studying full-time master's, again as an international student, and I'm side by side working as part-time in the university itself. So I'm a trainee environmental projects officer in the Vice Chancellor's office in the same university, University of Bolton.
Bolton, right.
Yeah.
In Manchester.
Yes, it's in Greater Manchester. It's a place called Bolton. It's a town. I feel it's a wonderful town. It's lively. We've got a good diversity. Plus, it's a very small. It's not that big, but it's small enough to know people by face. So it's like you go out there, you just walk for 10 minutes, and you meet so many people that you know. Yeah. So it feels like home. So it's a home away from home.
Moving on. Project.
That's very nice.
What are you doing? And then just a bit introduction about yourself.
So hello, my name is Prajakta, and I'm from Pune, India. I arrived in London precisely in January last year for my masters. I recently completed my masters from Queen Mary University in business management, and along with that I'm working on my startups. So I have one here registered. We are working with legal tech services. We're trying to use AI to simplify law and educate people more about it. And along with that, I have a firm back in Hyderabad, which is basically a tech firm where we are inclined towards hydroponic farming and developing a few patented products that are in our name. So it's quite a complicated task for me to balance everything out.
All the best.
But still working.
So it's India. In India, people, a lot of startups are coming right now. And then startups are sexy right now in India. So I hope in this booming market, I think you make your startup work.
It's actually the really bad statistics, but almost 70% of startups fail in the first 5 years in India, and it is a task to surpass that 5-year itch.
And then,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
that's the goal.
To kick the things off.
Yeah.
Then. Nihit, I often see many messages in WhatsApp and Instagram nowadays
Yeah.
saying that so many students, I'm contesting as a student union president. Please vote for me. They're advertising themselves. So I'm just curious, what these student union presidents do. Then what's the deal basically?
I would say people usually think it's fun at the beginning when they haven't been the president, but it's a very tough call. It's a very tough job. From the very moment that you're campaigning for yourself to be the students union president till the end of it, when you actually become the president, it's like in a few minutes, right after you hear the results, if you win, you're the president. And everything changes for you. You are all of a sudden you're representing all the students of the university. It involves representing the students of the university itself, the off campuses as well. So it's like if there's any colleges who are related with the university, so if they're affiliated, then you are representing them as well. And your duty is to make their lives better, make their student journey count, make them heard. I would say. So it's a very tough call because you have to facilitate them, you have to hear them, you have to resolve their problems. And even if it's like very serious topics like mental health or any kind of violence in any way, so it's like you have to go through all of that. And that's all of a sudden. Yeah.
What are the general questions that they come up to you and say that I need a solution on this, or I need help with this kind of thing from you? What are the general things that they reach out to you? Any student, international student?
If it's international students, majorly mental health or examinations, assignments. So students union help with assignments as well, like if they have any misconduct or anything, because in India the way of teaching is different than here. So when they are doing the assignments, it's plagiarism. Sometimes they don't know how much they can plagiarize, how much can they not. So it's a very tough part to play on that place, because you have to go and sit with them. You have to understand what did they do wrong, and they have a misconduct, they have a hearing apparently, and then we have to represent them in the hearing as the students union. So examination is one of them. And then majorly it's homesickness, majorly because they don't have, because they do part-time jobs as well. They're studying as well. Then they're talking at home as well. Majorly since it's accommodation problems these days. It was accommodations. They couldn't find accommodation, so they're living far. So somebody, if they're studying in Greater Manchester, they are maybe traveling from Birmingham, London,
coming from,
and then there was one student coming from Scotland. So it was insane. They never used to show up. So attendance was a problem. They couldn't play sports. They couldn't use the university facilities because they were not on the campus.
That's absolutely
There are many problems.
Yeah. What is the best experience that you have being a student union president? So we can say that.
Well, the whole time as the president was the best time ever, because when I was in India, I didn't do much. I wasn't doing much with my life anyway, and it's like it's like when you grow up, people think that you are this kind of person and you cannot change. Right? When you try to go out of your comfort zone, when you try to do something, they're like, oh, this is not you. They drag you back. Right? So that's what used to happen back at home. People used to like drag you down. But here, nobody knew. So when I became the president, I started to pretend at first that this is me, the new me, and this is what I'm going to do. So the best part was facilitating people, doing events. So we did like Bollywood night with Bolton Mayor. We had a talent show. It was called Northwest Talent Show. I had my own course in the university, which was personality development course. So I had to like international students like us. I used to like help them develop their personalities to see how they fit in, or how they can do their parts in their own ways, how they can excel. I opened up an area in the university. It's called the Hangout.
Okay.
It's
I
we've
like
got-
the name.
You heard the name?
I know, I like the name.
Oh, you
Hang
like the
out.
name?
Yeah.
It's
It's
It
like a
basically-
place to chill, probably.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They can play, they can chill, they can eat there if they want. And it's like we've got pool table there, table tennis, we have got foosball, we have got amazing graphics and all, music.
Right.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Those were the highlights, the best parts of me being the president. That was really fun.
I'm sure that was like a wonderful experience, though, those 2 years
Yeah.
of you being a president and at the same time managing other things, right? Yeah.
It's hectic, but it's wonderful because you're one of the trustees in the students union. You're one of the governors in the university, and sometimes, let's say in the time of COVID, cost of living crisis, or accommodation problems, in these kind of situations, you actually have to go out in the media and you have to represent all the student voices.
Right.
So that's a bit tough because you have to go out there and make a statement on the news, like BBC and all. And then we used to come here as well a lot in London. So it's like we used to be part of NUS, so that's the National Union of Students.
Right.
We used to have conferences there, and I was here in London in the House of Lords. That was one of the tasks as well. We were seeing how we can represent the other voices of student leaders to see what we can do for climate change and climate action. So there was this curtain raiser in House of Lords, which I went for. And there was this one part where I had to go in a United Nations conference. That was in Portugal. So that was all about ocean and how we can, help the creatures inside the ocean because they're not visible in our daily life. Plus, just because we make some way of living, let's say using of plastics, and having seafood and all these kind of things, we sometimes forget that we are not taking care of ocean and the creatures in the ocean. So those were some times when it was really tough.
I think the best thing was you can make good connections.
Absolutely.
I think being a president, like when you came to this country as a new guy, all you need is connections because you don't know much people out there. And then you need good connections, not only just connections. Being in your place, I think that was the best. You can actually meet a lot of people. At the same time, you can actually have interactions with the people, professors, and then like vice chancellors, and then all the other guys.
But the best part is, which I'll end on, is that the best part is you think, right? As an international student, it's really important to think, right? Because at first we sometimes forget that we are capable to think, because it's not our country, isn't it? So we think like, oh, it's not ours, it's them people doing the things, and we are just there living. So it's like you start to think, you take a responsibility, and you speak when you're asked to speak. So it's like, as an international student, or majorly in India, like we are used to talk a lot, right? We are used to, even if we don't know, we just say, oh yes we do, and then we would just say whatever we know. So when you come into these kind of roles, you just speak because whenever you're speaking, you make a statement on behalf of all the students. So it's like it makes you a bit calmer. I know I'm not looking like somebody who's calm. I'm speaking a lot, but
No, but because you have that rich of an experience to share, that's why you're sharing. I mean, I feel like from a newbie who's just come to London, I really appreciate the kind of platform you have received. Not just representing student union at the UN. It just widens your perspective so much, and having the physical capability of helping someone out. That's a very, very big deal. It's just not you're just not thinking. You have the power to actually help all your fellow students out. And I'm sure like your leadership skills must have
So that's what I was about to say. I think he's somebody who wants to become a good leader. I think that's where he should set his foundation.
Right.
I think that's amazing, man.
Thank you so much.
Prajakta, like why did you first decide to do the masters?
In UK.
Yeah, in UK.
Now-
And normally, why you want to do masters when you first decided in India?
Alright.
Yeah.
So if you're expecting a very encouraging answer, you're not.
No.
Let me just disappoint you
No.
firsthand. Very realistically speaking, I never wanted to do a master's. It was my father who persisted me because I have a working experience of 2 years before this.
Right,
I worked in a oil and gas company in Hyderabad for 2 years as an engineer. And post that, I immediately started off with my startup there. But my father encouraged that, now is the age where you can just get done with your masters. It's something that it's good to have.
It's good, yeah. It's good to have that
later on in
experience.
life, probably you might not be able to have that capability of
That's true.
pursuing it. So, and UK has the like an exclusive program for only 1 year, and that's how they ended up on the decision to get in.
The good thing is, whatever our end goal is, I mean, we don't very often do studies rather than masters. I think we stop with the bachelor's and then masters and then postgraduate, right? You can never have college life again in your life once you're done with the bachelor's, unless and until you do masters. And if you do master, that's it. You will never have that life like where you go university, sit in the classrooms, talk with a lot of people, where you don't have too much of pressure in the head and stuff. And then once we finish the masters and enter into the working cultures, then we realize those were the golden days.
Yeah.
I mean, so most of the students who came here to do masters, most of them never really want to do masters. I myself, I just want to go somewhere, have the exposure of being international guy, and mingle with a lot of people from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And then the only way was to come by doing masters quickly, isn't it? I mean, you can come on the work visas as well, but they are complicated when you don't have any work experience, right? Yeah. So UK is a place for many renowned universities. UK is a place for world-class education. But there are the courses which are highly underrated. Most of the students don't know. And then there are the careers which most of our students are not leveraging on. Let's talk about those. Most of our students are doing computer science, business management, and then probably that's it. I hardly listen from somebody saying that I am doing chemical engineering, which is one of the best ever place to study in the United Kingdom. Best ever course.
Yeah.
So what are those courses? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So not to specify courses, but I generally feel for people who are looking forward to have an education here, arts is something that is booming, and it's I don't think there's any place but UK to have your degree in arts, because if in London and in many places elsewhere also in UK, the culture of theatre, the culture of musical and opera, it's still so well preserved and it's still so valued that I think not only will you get a good education here, but you will have opportunities to work in that very field, which I think is slightly lacking in India. Arts is something that is not very encouraged, which is again a consequence of low job opportunities, low employment opportunities. So I feel like people who are inclined towards that field and considering to come abroad, UK is a very good place, and they should explore this very spectrum of degrees.
Arts and culture, and then anything to do with the creative fields.
Yeah, creative
right?
fields like art, music, so on and so forth.
And also, upon the research, they're saying psychology courses related to psychology is best in UK. Accounting and finance. UK is known for its, banking, accounting,
London
and finance.
is the
London is known for
world head for finance.
Here we are.
it's like how Silicon Valley is for technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Canary Wharf is for head of that. I don't know how many of our students are studying these kind of courses.
Yeah.
And then
there's a huge number actually. In India, in many places, especially Punjab, it's like there's always this thing there, isn't it? Like not trying to be controversial, but it is. There's like many institutions or academies, or there's agents specifically. They charge you to just send you to the UK. And it's like all they say is just take the business course. it's the easiest to get,
That's true. Yeah.
right? As an international student, that's the easiest to get. Just pay me as the agent. You go there, whatever you want to study, you just change the course. There's been like in the past when I was in the university, there's been many cases they didn't want to study that course, right? Let's say computer science, you mentioned business. They didn't want to study. They just came to the university and just because majorly international students, they're sometimes late to the country. They arrive late. So sometimes they exceed the time of the deadline changing the course. So they just come in.
They rush and ask me saying that I want to change my course.
I know, right? They just come in and all of a sudden they can't change the course, and they have paid the fees. They have paid the accommodation and all the visa requirements. They have already paid that agent's not gonna like refund. So it's insane, man. The kind of business that they are doing by sending them to study business. It is crazy.
That's true.
It's insane. But yeah, arts is amazing because I like the point because in art specifically, when you're doing theater, the kind of diversity you want in a theater. There was this theater I watched. It was some Habibti driver, something from Wigan. I saw it in Bolton, and it was such a diverse theater. All the people were Arabic in that, speaking English, but they were like living in an area which was not British or not Arabic. So it's like the kind of input that they bring in, because they know the language, so they can switch from English to their own language. So it's like if people from international places, they come in somewhere, they study courses like these, especially the courses where they represent something, right? Like arts, as you mentioned. So it's like they represent their culture, their languages, their knowledge, their way of living. They say so many things. But just because they don't study, then the whole field becomes limited to the country.
Yeah. Also, there is less competition in these kind of courses. Like you can straight away get into the job, you can get into the interns, and then like it's actually easier path compared to all the courses.
If you're backed with the education, the right college, then yes. Because I've noticed this, like in European culture in general, especially when it comes to arts, it's such a creative field, and people who have that kind of creativity don't really value the backing up of degree. So they don't believe in that education, that formal education. They'd rather train themselves, by doing jobs, by doing actual work. So there is competition. I would differ with that fact. But again, if you have a solid degree and if you go to the right places, that's where that education kicks in, because it'll teach you exactly the roadmap. It won't let you wander around.
That's true.
To get a good job.
I would say it's just funny, came up in my mind, nobody is studying arts, but they're all acting. they're all acting as international students. We are all actors. It just happened to be Bollywood is there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Ever since Instagram launched the reels, these reels content, right? Just everybody's actors and actresses, right? So yes, arts, culture, psychology, chemical engineering, anything with accounting and finance, banking sectors, all these are very, very, people are leveraging very less on this kind of, international students especially, right? And then I come across numerous students nowadays saying that they are failing in their courseworks. And then when I came in 2019, there was not many people saying that, I didn't pass out of the university, I have problem to apply for the post-study work visa and stuff. But right now, I don't know situation what happened. Everybody, so many people saying that they didn't finish their courses. And then it's crazy that they don't know the consequences as well. What are the consequences and why is it happening in the first place?
They take it lightly, I feel.
Let a block of ignorance.
Many students, we take it lightly.
Also, I think right now with plagiarism tools, the technology, AI has, helped catch plagiarism, all of this pretty quickly than it was, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. Like colleges were not equipped with this kind of tech that they are right now. So it's easier to catch hold and, easier to examine a certain kind of offense.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel tech, like availability of tech to colleges is one main reason that they can get hold of such
Plagiarism and
practices.
How sad is that?
It's supposed to help, isn't it?
The only thing which were helping us, AI. They got the solution for that as well.
What else? What else apart from AI?
But the thing is, to add on, which is an interesting fact, is like they come here to study, like they show sometimes. We all have been there at one point. When we started earning to pay the rest of the bills and everything, our food, luxury life, we start to pretend that we are here for work, right? We keep the study aside, right? And then we start to focus on work. Why? Because it's getting us money, it's getting us comfort and all those kind of things. So it's like we all of a sudden realized, oh, it's the exam next day. I have to study. Then back to square one as you were back at home. You only study when the exam is on last day. It's tough.
I feel you
can't focus then.
Normally we take help from a lot of guys in India, right? When we're doing these assignments and stuff. But most of the student doesn't. It's okay to take the help. I know most of the people just want to come here and then somehow finish their degrees and then start working, but they don't even have a sense that they should go through all the work they did and then check everything.
They don't take feedbacks.
Rephrase, feedback. Work on like just little bit, not like you're doing entire coursework by yourself, right? So I think this is purely because
so
of lack
not
of
taking
ignorance.
it seriously again, like taking it lightly, because the pattern here is mostly assignments and practical exposure, thesis. It's all paperwork, and we are used to in India we are used to like exams, memorizing everything. So naturally a student is going to think this is much of a lighter platform. So that's where that carelessness, that attitude comes in.
So what are the consequences?
By failing. Normally in many universities you do get a second chance, but when you fail in the second chance as well, then unfortunately you have to leave. Many of the universities, if you fail completely, they give you 60 days to go back home completely, and then it's up to you. Many people, they go to solicitors, they try to get another way of staying here or anything.
That's true, yeah.
But 60 days is the thing. You have to pack your bags.
I think you have a chance for 2 times to resubmit and again.
Yes, but again, you cannot apply for PSW. That's the problem in that tenure. Now imagine if I'm a Jan intake person, my visa expires in May. I can apply for PSW in April itself. But as the person who has probably failed any subject or dissertation for that matter has to retake it. And that retaking will happen somewhere in June. So that person misses out on the PSW opportunities, misses out on the job opportunities, because you need somehow a backing of PSW.
And the visa extension as well.
Extension. So it delays your entire process of finding a proper job which will sponsor you.
That's true, yeah.
And it's so much money.
It's so much money.
That's true.
You're
Yeah,
already
we
giving
already
so much money
paying
for
so
what?
much.
Going back home.
We are paying so much. University fees is so much high right now, and the cost of living is high.
Yeah.
And then what's the point of paying again and then going through the same process again? If you're paying and if you don't have to go through the process, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you have to go through again. You have to pass anyway at the end of the day, right? Do it better in the first place, sir.
Yeah, but then I think not. There are some courses in those universities also which give a second chance. But those particular courses you cannot retake. So if a person is there for masters, the person will only get a diploma because he or she has flunked in that subject, and you cannot retake it.
Wow.
Nowadays when we go through the Instagram, everybody just like coming out and talking about the struggles that they're facing in these countries, saying that we have to do these odd jobs, we have to adjust to these weather conditions, and they're not like used getting along with their friends. They're purely talking about struggles. Nobody is talking about how much they're evolving as a person, how much they're developing themselves, and then within that short period of time, like the amount of growth personally they're growing. Nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like how much personally one guy is developing by studying, coming to UK or wherever they go, having international exposure. So let's talk about that a little bit.